Okay, is everybody in? All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's meeting. Before we get started, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the victims of the Madison school shooting. Great. So our thoughts and our prayers are with the victims of that terrible school shooting. Does anybody have any committee, our school committee report? Gianna?
Good evening, Eastchester community. The Eastchester Toy Drive was a huge success as we collected over 1,000 toys in just 3 weeks. These toys were donated to the Neperhan Community Center, whose effort is devoted to empowering children from low-income communities. The Toy Drive is one of our largest fundraisers, and many students exceeded the requirement of one toy and donated over 4 each. As we head deeper into our winter season, the high school's Building for Tomorrow Club is running a clothes drive from January to February. They are seeking to collect new and clean jackets, gloves, hats, etc. Please donate to help out those in need. Our winter sports season is off to a fantastic start, with our team showing great skill, determination, and teamwork. As the season progresses, we look forward to even more exciting games, impressive performances, and competitive tournaments. Stay tuned for updates on upcoming matchups and events, and come out to support our Eagles as they continue to make us proud. Congrats to the varsity cheer team in continuing their winning streak by winning first place in the medium varsity game day division and getting 6th place in the traditional small varsity D2 division. They competed at the UCA Empire Regionals on December 15th and earned 2 bids to nationals in February. Congratulations again to these girls. Good night, and thank you for supporting all of us Eagles.
Thank you for the update. Do I have any committee reports? Chrissy?
I just wanted to say that I had the pleasure of seeing Mary Poppins this weekend, and so congratulations to the middle school players club. They did such a fantastic job, and every time I see a middle school play, I'm just amazed that they are 6th, 7th, and 8th grade kids. They do such a good job, the cast, the crew. Congratulations to Miss Rendy, Miss Bonner, Miss Batts. They did a fabulous job.
Great. Anyone else? And just on the entertainment front, I know right now there is the band concert going on. Tomorrow is the middle school, high school orchestra concert, and I believe chorus is in the new year.
And just very quickly, I know we don't have a full house here tonight, but can we just give a quick round of applause to our cheerleaders? I mean, that's a major accomplishment. And thank you for sharing that, Gianna. We appreciate it.
Great, thank you. Okay, so before I go into the president's report, there is an item of business that we have to vote on. So do I have a motion for the tax shelter annuity? Sean?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the Superintendent, hereby approves the access of 403B eligibility to the attached provider list through 1/31/25 and grandfathering all employees enrolled prior to 1/31/25 for the length of their employment, and be it further resolved, approves the authorized investment provider list moving forward, also attached effective February 1, 2025.
Great, thank you. Do I have a second? Rob, all in favor? Great, thank you. So just real quick on the president's report, we've been very busy these last couple of weeks. We've actually just wrapped up our coffee and conversation series, as well as our board workshops. The coffee and conversations are a great time for us because it allows for a very fluid, organic discussion with the administrators and parents. And we always come away with those meetings learning something. So we look forward to reviewing and analyzing some of the initiatives that came forth from those coffee and conversations. And also, I'd like to thank the Waverly, Ann Hutch, and Greenvale PTAs for the holiday boutiques and the winter wonderland elf festivities and everyone who's volunteered. That was a great event, especially I know from some of us who've attended, having their children eat candy-coated spaghetti first thing in the morning.
Mrs. Capiello is here, and I saw her going back for seconds of the maple syrup on spaghetti.
It was a great, fabulous event. And I'd also like to thank the fifth grade, the fifth grade Ann Hutchinson Student Government for hosting the Senior Citizen Breakfast. That was a wonderful event. It was wonderful to see the children acting as hostesses and waiters and waitresses for the seniors. The seniors are the backbone of our community, and I think they enjoyed themselves. The performers were great, and it's such a wonderful, incredible tradition at Ann Hutch. So for anyone who has fifth graders coming in for next year, or anyone, I strongly encourage you to attend because it's a great event. And finally, we'd like to acknowledge in our audience our new fifth grade teacher addition to Ann Hutch, Mrs. Megan D. Carini. So welcome. Do you want to say a couple words? Sure. You can come up too, Laura.
Everyone here, this is good? Okay. I just want to say thank you all for welcoming me to the Eastchester School District. As a resident, a member of the community, I'm really honored to now be a teacher here. In my 2.5 weeks at Ann Hutch, I've been so kindly welcomed by the staff and the students. And I'm just very eager to continue building strong relationships there. I look forward to a great school year and a lifelong career here. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Something?
I'll just say a couple sentences. We're thrilled to have found Megan. I think that with all the circumstances, it was a really tough transition and a hard place for her to be, and she came in and she's doing great. She's building relationships with the staff, she's collaborating with her team, and it's only been like 2.5 weeks, and she feels like part of the Ann Hutch family, so we're really happy that she's here, and we thank you, and we look forward to a great school year.
Great, thank you. Welcome. And with that, Dr. Valenti, we're up to your report.
Good evening, thank you very much. And I want to add to Megan and Laura's words that it was an incredible find to be able to bring Megan on board in such a super sensitive situation. So kudos to Laura and her team, and Megan, thank you for accepting this mid-year appointment, and we know it's the right one. Good, welcome aboard. So on that note, we do have some other administrators in the group. Dr. Meyer is with us, Mrs. Messina. We have a middle school principal, Madeline LeBeau. Of course, we always have Robert Jacoby, our technology presence. And standing in the rear, will you stay for a while, sir, is Mr. Chris Welch.
I'm going with in between the concert.
You're running in between, okay.
Busy night here.
Well, you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like, Chris.
I
Good.
appreciate that.
Okay, so Tonight, I do want to talk about the new district policy adoptions and meetings that we've had with our faculty. A few words about board workshops and next steps for our advanced learning and gifted program. But the main topic is that the board is in the process of revising its Title IX policies, specifically on sexual harassment in the workplace and sex-based harassment. The reason for the revisions are that at the federal level, there have been 2 revisions in Title IX, one set of revisions from 2020 to 2022, and a second set from 22 to 24. So we needed to bring our policies up to standard with respect to the Title IX. One of the fundamental changes is a shift away from DASA, as we understand it, and more toward Title IX, which now becomes the central player in areas of sexual harassment in the workplace and sex-based harassment. The other reason is that the board has asked for a new policy that I do want to talk to everyone about in depth on staff and student relations and honing in on in-person communication, the obligation we all have to report violations of this new policy, and what training we're going to be giving our staff with respect to this policy. So far, we've already begun earlier this month on December the 3rd. I met with about 35 probationers in the library here. I was joined by some of the administrators I introduced earlier this evening. And I had a second meeting tonight with the remaining group of probationers to give them a little space and time to hear this more in detail. On Monday, January 6th, I will be meeting with the entire secondary staff in the high school auditorium at their regular Monday faculty meeting. It will be a joint meeting in person. And then the following Monday, all of the K-5 faculty will join us in the Ann Hutch Auditorium, so that by the end of January 13th, all staff would have heard of the new policies and have had an opportunity to ask questions. The process will be ongoing from there. Certainly we'll make our attorneys available at our committee meetings, our unit meetings, etc., where questions may arise. But I must say we've had a very cooperative, collaborative effort up to this point in order to bring about policies that are in the best interests of our children, in the best interests of our faculty, who overwhelmingly are concerned, caring individuals, and in the best interests of our parent body, who have every expectation that their children are treated with the greatest respect. So to that end, what is this staff-student policy in particular? And I think it's important to pause some of the words, but we address staff on personal contact between staff and students, that it must be appropriate to the circumstances, and it must be unambiguous in meaning. Staff should avoid any appearance of impropriety in their interactions with students. Behaviors that may create an appearance of impropriety include, but are not limited to, conducting ongoing private conversations with individual students that are unrelated to academics, school activities, or the well-being of students, and that take place in locations inaccessible to students. So we think it's very important. We don't want robots for teachers. We're human beings. But we have to set ground rules that everybody knows, understands, and abides by. And so far, there has been some very good feedback just on the language that I read to you with respect to conversations about academics, school activities, etc., well-being. Our guidance staff is very happy that we included well-being because that would be a broader scope of discussion with students than just academics or coursework. And certainly for our pupil personnel services, that's understandable. And wherever we need to insert well-being of students, and ETA did make a recommendation, I would suggest we insert it into the policy that we adopt. Secondly, inviting a student or students for home visits. No. Visiting the home of students without knowledge and express consent of parents. No. Inviting students for social contact off school grounds without the permission or knowledge of parents. Again, no. And finally, transporting students in personal vehicles without the knowledge and express consent of parents and the appropriate school district administrator. In most cases, this should be the building principal. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. It's exemplary, but I think it helps all of us understand the general direction of what we're suggesting. Staff shall restrict one-to-one. Now, this is a different area. This gets us to digital communications. We live in a digitized universe. There's a restriction on one-to-one electronic communications with individual students to only those accounts, systems, and platforms that are provided and managed. Provided by the school district and managed by the school district. Sending messages, including direct messaging of a student on a private or personal messaging platform or social media account, such as Snapchat, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or other such programs is prohibited. Okay? So that is pretty clear language. Everyone I've met with so far had no questions about it. If there are questions that arise tonight, we'd be happy to entertain them. Now, this is as important as what we just talked about, the reporting of violations. District employees shall report suspected violations of this policy. And I emphasize the word shall. In collective bargaining, there are 3 levels of words you could use: may, will or must, and shall. May is permissive by definition. Will and must is a higher level, less permissive. Shall is obligatory. So anyone who violates this policy is in violation of board policy and therefore subject to disciplinary action. So the word shall is resonant here about reporting suspected violations of this policy regarding in-person or electronic communications, inappropriate behaviors with students, and teachers, staff in general, are obligated to first report that to the building principal, who then shall report such information to the superintendent. Now, in talking to staff, I did make the observation that you may see something and wonder, is that appropriate or inappropriate? Well, consult with another staff member. Talk to one of your unit members or ETA. Consult with an administrator. The key thing is, don't ignore it. If you see something, say something. If you are not absolutely certain, ask questions. But the point is that the entire community must stand up to ensure that we not tolerate any unacceptable behaviors. Now, part of the training is happening tonight. It's happened for the last 2 meetings. There'll be additional meetings in January. Superintendent, again, shall be responsible for informing students, staff, and parents. Now, I want to emphasize the word parents. Parents are very much part of this. You heard what I read earlier with respect to parent knowledge and permission, and parents are partners with us. So it's not only our students who have to respect their faculty, our staff who have to respect each other and our students and parents, and our parents who must respect our staff and our students. So it's an interaction based on this policy and the duty that we all have to report violations and the procedures established for investigation and resolution of complaints. Okay? Staff training shall be provided to facilitate identification of possible behavior that may constitute inappropriate staff-student relationships, and shall be provided such training in an age-appropriate manner. In early January, Dr. will speak about our district-wide safety committee and efforts that we're making to allow our youngest learners to receive a curriculum and a program. We currently have good touches, bad touches. We want to expand that and be sure that our students at the earliest ages understand what appropriate behavior is, and when one is uncomfortable, what options do they have in terms of reporting. So let me complete the policy. What are the allowable platforms? And only these are allowable. The Google Classroom, it's an appropriate venue. Gmail is an appropriate venue. Parent Square, newly introduced this year, is an appropriate, managed and provided by the district. Sports University has purposely been set up to eliminate any texting of athletes, etc. Any other platforms approved in the official software district inventory, which is updated regularly on the district website. Those are the approved platforms. So I'll continue with my report, and then if there are questions or comments that board members want to make, we'll certainly entertain them. But that concludes the revisions on the board policy, and I believe we have the first reading tonight, is that right, Lori? So the way it works is there have to be 2 readings. One is tonight, the next will be at the January regular meeting, and then the board will vote on it at the January regular meeting. So by February 1st, this policy will be in place fully. On January 7th, Dr. Meyer at 7 p.m. will present on a number of areas, tri-states, report on the 18 months of progress by the high school counseling department, and what progress have we made on enhancing student-parent experience, the college application process and college essays, and Dr. Meyer will be bringing several people, obviously, from the high school administration, as well as guidance, counseling staff, etc., who he has been working with. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier, we do now have a child district-wide safety committee, K-12. Their goal is to foster staff, student safety, and relationships, and help us enforce this policy district-wide so that we're embedding in the professional development of the district not only curriculum, but ongoing staff development. And Dr. Meyer will invite members of the committee to be here on January 7th, and the community and board can meet them as well. And finally, there'll be a discussion on ruler program. What have we accomplished, or what are we accomplishing, hopefully this year? As you know, last year was year 0, which was mostly training. This year, we're actually implementing the curriculum framework, the peer mentoring program, and he'll have some discussion on the student outreach and resource center, okay? And he will coordinate K-12 students and staff in these presentations. My last entry for tonight, we reported in the last 2 meetings on the results of the survey, which showed a demonstrable interest in K-5 in particular. So steps that we have begun in order to take it to its next level or phase. Using our testing data, this is something we administer 3 times a year, once in September, a second time in January, third time in late spring, May. But using the NWEA data, which we already have in ELA and math, identify the top 90% or percentile of students ranking on academic testing. So internally, if you're looking at grades 2, 3, 4, and 5, right now, which youngsters are in that top tier? Okay. Again, we test in January. This is not a new test. We always test, as I said earlier, in the fall, in midwinter, January, and again in late spring. Will those results correlate with the September results? Will that same list of youngsters in January look similar to, or identical to, or not? And what is the correlation? So we want to look at that, those 2 pieces of data. That takes care of the academic world when you're looking for accelerated or gifted learners. But there's another world out there, it's called aptitude or ability. And a lot of youngsters may not score high necessarily on academics or achievement, sometimes for language barriers or other barriers, but they have enormous capacity. And a cognitive abilities test, we're using the 30-minute electronic version, will identify youngsters who have strong capacities in terms of the ability to learn or the ability to perform effectively. And it's across a broader spectrum if you're looking at giftedness beyond the academic into areas of music, into areas of art, into areas that go beyond the scope of the strict content disciplines. So we want to, again, who winds up in that 90th percentile? So now we're going to have 3 sets of data, past September, January, academics, ELA math, set of data, cognitive abilities. I think then we'll be able to get a better sense of who our potential population is. Once you have an idea of who your population is, now you can begin to say, what are the program options that we have that could best serve that population? So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves tonight, but we're already looking at those program options. It's not a secret. One option could be identify a group of second graders in each of the 2 elementary schools who are in the 90th percentile or higher, and that would become a class of students with a teacher who would be interested in working with those higher accelerated students, and would it become a class, one of the 4 or 5 for second graders, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, if we wanted to introduce it for all grade levels, or introduce it as a multi-year plan, okay? The other option is take another look at the win period for identifiable students and see if that is a vehicle for serving them. The survey seemed to be more leaning toward doing something during the school day, within the academic day, and within a class day, as opposed to doing outside the scope of day, school activities outside, Saturdays, afternoons, etc. The emphasis was, can we do it within the borders of the school day, and ideally, can it be done within a particular classroom with these students? So we can talk about the pluses and minuses of that. But I think it's important we also begin developing a K-5 committee of educators, parents, and stakeholders to review this data. It should be ready somewhere in the January timeframe. Review the results and the options that I alluded to earlier. So on that note, I want to thank you and ask for any comments or questions from the board, also from the community.
No, thank you, Dr. Valenti. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone on the policy committee, as well as Lori and yourself for working through the policy that we're in the process of developing and eventually passing. So just want to thank everyone on that forefront. Does anybody have any questions? Is the presentation? Okay. Thanks, Dr. Valenti. Doesn't look like we have any questions.
That's super. That means I answered all the questions. There you go. Thank you very much. And I do want to wish everyone, the board and the community, the happiest of holidays in the way you celebrate and choose to celebrate it. And it's a wonderful year, and we look forward to next year. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we are now up to the approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Rob?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby approve the consent agenda, which includes the following: 9, approval of minutes; 10, personnel agenda; 11, educational and curriculum and instruction; 12, committee on preschool special education recommendations; 13, business office recommendations; 14, board policies; 15, other business.
Great. Do I have a second? Oh, Jackie? All in favor? With one abstention.
Two.
Jill?
Two.
Well, two.
abstentions. Jill and myself. and
Okay.
abstaining.
Oh, I didn't see it. Thanks. Sorry.
No problem.
That's okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we are now up to the comments from the public section. Just as a reminder, please state your name and address for the record. As always, we welcome all public comment and feedback, but please be mindful that this is limited to a 30-minute session. Everyone has about 3 minutes, but please be civil. And anyone who'd like to have public comment? Just come to the podium, state your name and address.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joseph Santa Maria. I live at 58 Stewart Place, Eastchester. The main topic tonight is the word free. Eastchester Union Free School District. And why do I say the word free? I own a home on Water Street that's water in my basement that was from free dirt back in 2007. That's led to $12,000 worth of damages. What did I do? I wrote a letter to address the issues. And what did they tell me? I had to deal with a law firm out in Long Island representing the school board. Now, I've been living here 24 years. All 3 of my kids have graduated from this school, and it's a great school, great district. Why would I want to sue the school district? I pay $30,000 a year in taxes on 2 of my homes in Eastchester for the school district, and my kids are out of the district. So for me to address the $12,000 of damage in the basement of that terrible rain that we've never had before, all goes back to the free dirt back in 2007. So why do I say the free dirt? Because we never had these problems till 2007. So what do we do now? I go out to the Long Island last Thursday, and I met with the law firm, and now they want me to hire my own lawyer. So why would I hire my own lawyer? So I represented myself, and they wanted documents from me regarding the whole issue with the dirt and the water in the basement and also. I sent them, I have 70 pages I made copies of, and I'm mailing them to them tomorrow. With that free dirt issue, there was a lawsuit involved, way before your time, Valenti, and there was a $600,000 agreement that was given to the school district. That year, there was a new school budget being addressed. Whatever the number was, 10 million, 15 million. I came here late after work, I got to make the meeting, and I brought up about the lawsuit. And the lawsuit was entitled Dirt Man. Dirt Man lawsuit, $600,000. No one in the room knew about this Dirt Man lawsuit.
Sir, you have about 10 seconds left.
Excuse me?
You have about 10 seconds left.
Could I come up and speak again? On another topic? This is the water issue. It's two topics. And there's nobody else in the crowd I see that wants to speak here.
Why don't you finish the first topic, sir, and then you can go to your second topic.
Okay,
I think that's fair.
so I asked the board members, where is the $600,000, since you're asking for a certain amount of money for the new school budget? They said, oh, it's already figured in. No line item, no diagram showing the $600,000 from the lawsuit was given to the school board, put into the school budget. So now, here we go again. I don't want to sue the school. I love this district, I love the town, but it seems like back to the word free. Free money. I had to deal with a law firm out in Long Island. That means we're paying for it, the parents, the residents. The free dirt, the $600,000, that there was no line item showing that it was put into the existing budget. Still to this day, they never showed that line item. I
So-
just want to address the water issue. 6 months ago was the last meeting we had
Did you want to say something?
about the water with all the neighbors on Water Street. And we haven't had a meeting since that meeting. So it's been 6 months. We're waiting for an update from the school board with their engineers and architects and whoever they hired on how they're gonna rectify the water situation. And that's the first part, that's that,
Right, good, thank you.
okay? Thank you for getting to speak to the second issue. The second issue is the athletic director was appointed on May 7th with 4 of the administrators. I happened to be at that meeting. I was here to speak about the water issues. I knew nothing about who was being appointed. And Mr. Valenti said that the gentleman that was chosen out of the three people applied for this position, for this athletic director. What he needs to do is to complete a course at Hunter College, and by September, he will start his new position. Well, he never completed his courses at Hunter College. September came, and his title was changed from athletic director to interim athletic director.
That's wrong.
Mr. Valenti said that everybody knew this kid. He was as popular as...
Sir, for the purposes of the public comment section, you cannot be calling out administrators, whether they're current or on leave. But with respect to your allegations, they're factually incorrect. However, you cannot be publicly, specifically addressing an administrator during the course of a public comment.
Administrator, you're referring to Mr. Valenti? Who are you referring to when you say administrator?
Well, no names during public comment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, no problem. All right, so this gentleman was brought up, the new athletic director. He spoke at this podium, great speaker. And they said they knew him from a young child, how active he was, how much free time he dedicated to the school. He worked so hard. As time went on,
Sir, I mean, right now, there is a current investigation through the district attorney's office.
yeah, I'm not mentioning his name, but
I understand that, but we understand, but it's not appropriate discussion during a public comment section.
And if I could, Mr. Santamaria, we were in a meeting together with Tony and some of the town officials. If you look back on that meeting, what I would just say is, we never actually appointed an athletic director. It was always an interim spot. So I just want to point that out to you as you continue, and Christine's going to let you finish with that. But if you look back on the meeting, and I know there's a nuance to that, We actually never appointed an athletic director this year with the departure of Mr. Gitlin. Brad Gitlin was our athletic director.
Right.
He left the district. He went to another district. At that point, we only had an interim athletic director. We never appointed anyone as a permanent athletic director. So if you go back and look at the meeting, Ms. Santamaria, please take a look at that, just to clarify for the record, even though we're not necessarily supposed to be discussing this because people can put that together, we actually never had an athletic director since Mr. Gitlin departed the district.
Okay, so.
Just
with
look back on that.
With that being said, so let's say that's the case. It was said at that meeting that once he completes his course at Hunter College, he will have this position, whatever it is, interim or whatever, in September.
What it said, Mrs. Santamaria, and again, please go back and look, is he would receive his certification if he completed. There was no guarantee of a position. So if you go back and look on that particular meeting, there's certifications that are involved for certain administrators within the district, not just for athletics, but for other positions as well. At that meeting, there was never an appointment of a permanent athletic director. It was always interim. And upon completion, there are people that would have become certified in a role that then could have applied to become a permanent. So it wasn't a guarantee that once that certification happened, that automatically someone goes into a position. So I just want to clarify that for you, just for the
Okay, and
record.
if you look at the minutes of that meeting, there was no such thing regarding certifications. It was mentioned about completing a degree. What type of degree was never said. So just to make that clear, look at the meeting minutes, and you'll see that part. All right, just to let you know. So why am I bringing this all up? Because 2 other people applied for this position. They went for 3 interviews each, just like the gentleman that was awarded the position. So were those 2 people called now to come again to reapply for this position? Don't know. And the main problem I have here is he used his position to benefit himself. He knew about a student that was in the program that didn't live in the district. So what did he do?
Sir,
What now?
this is inappropriate. The time is up.
Why?
Time is up.
Why is it inappropriate? I'm not mentioning names. I'm not
Time is up.
mentioning titles.
It's time is up, and you're making also allegations that haven't been proven. There is, as we said earlier, there is a pending investigation through the district attorney's office, and your 3 minutes are up.
Okay, so you said, right?
Sir,
I know,
You know.
but Mr. Valenti said tonight at the new things he put on the board was about a staff member seeing something that's not right to notify another staff member or union member or whatever. Well, this gentleman knew about a student who wasn't in the program, that lived in the program, and so he used it to his advantage to take advantage of this
sir,
kid.
we're
So guess what?
closing. Sir, no,
We
no
are
longer.
paying for this. Us, the parents, are paying for this. $30,000 a year I pay
Sir.
for 2 houses.
Pa-
That means all
comments-
your salaries. So you could throw me off after 3
Okay,
minutes.
sir,
But the point
sir.
is, you should let me finish saying what, you know what you did to the town? You made the town of Eastchester
All right, sir,
on
it's,
the map, just like Penn State with Paterno and Sandusky.
All right, sir,
You put us on the map.
sir,
the
your 3
same
minutes, sir,
way.
your
You
minutes
fi-
are up.
You gave us a black eye.
Can
put
we
us
cut
on
the
national
mic,
news.
please?
And I don't think that's right, okay? Because if you live in this town, you wouldn't like
We-
that.
so,
either.
Sir.
Cut me off.
Mrs. Santamaria, just very quickly, and I think all of us up here, just so you know again factually, we all live in this town. Every one of us that's on this board, we all have kids here in school. Part of what you saw tonight with these policies is to directly address some of the things that you're talking about. I'm a dad. I have 5 children. My kids go to school here. We are all just as passionate about the safety of our children as you are. We're all taxpayers here. None of us are compensated. We're all volunteers. We don't get a salary for this. This is just so, again, and I'm just letting you know, look, we've sat in meetings together. I appreciate your passion. I'm only saying it just so you know and anybody watching at home knows. We are all parents. For myself, and I think I speak for every trustee on this board, the safety of these kids, from my kids, your kids, her kids, is just as important to me as it is to you. I appreciate your passion, and I can assure you, this board will do everything possible to keep these kids safe each and every day, and I commit that to you to the best of my ability. To your point, we only want to be seen in a positive light. It is our responsibility to every single day when we get up, make sure that we're doing the best of our abilities. We are not compensated. We live in this town. I live a couple of blocks from you. I appreciate your passion, but I want you to know we are doing the best that we can with what we have. And also, just to clarify, as a Board of Education, we do not run the day-to-day of the district. We are policymakers. That's what you saw up here on this board tonight. The day-to-day of the district is run by the superintendent. Some of what you were talking about tonight predated this superintendent, predated every single person on this board. And as you go away tonight, I never want someone who's a taxpayer in this community to go away and feel frustrated and unheard. We hear you loud and clear, and some of what you saw tonight is teeth that we're putting in things to ensure the safety of our kids. So on that, unfortunately, the time is up. That's a rule. It's no one being rude. It's not Christine being rude. But I want you to know, all 9 of us are doing the best that we possibly can, because every single one of us has kids in our schools every single day here.
And I saw that, I read it, I wrote it down. You're going in a positive direction about what happened. But my only problem I have is you don't get paid on this board. But this board has something to do with the superintendent of hiring a staff member. And that's a fact. He doesn't hire the staff member by himself. There's more than one person. So that means somebody in this area.
We don't. So, again, just so you know, factually, we don't run the day-to-day of the district.
Nobody here picks a staff member?
Us here,
Interviews a staff member?
Us here, the only interviews that we do, our responsibility is to hire the superintendent of schools.
Right.
There are committees that are run by our director of personnel, Mrs. Messina, who's sitting here, with other staff members as a committee. What the Board of Education does, just by way of law, they make a recommendation to us on who they want to hire. In most cases, not in all cases, we never meet those people. That is based on the running of the day-to-day of the school district.
So at the end of the day, a candidate that's picked for a position, either a 5th grade teacher or athletic director, is it interviewed by more than one person?
Yes.
Yes, there are
That run the
committees.
day-to-day
Yeah.
of the school,
Not us.
that does not involve the Board of
Right, okay.
Education.
That's not
Yes,
us.
One person.
that is
Yes.
correct. That is correct.
Yes,
And I believe that because I knew it wasn't all Mr. Valenti.
That is correct.
yes.
Okay, how many people, you know?
It probably
1, 2,
varies for
3,
the
4.
position.
It's a whole committee.
It's a whole
It's
committee.
a committee.
How
There's
many?
committees.
1, 2, 3, 4?
It depends
Janelle,
on
what
the
would you say
position.
the average is on a committee?
Maybe 5.
5
Five.
people.
Okay, so 5 people plus Mr. Valenti, 6 people, and this athletic director did what he did. So somebody dropped the ball somewhere. And my minutes are up, I know, but I have to speak my mind, okay? And I mean well, I'm not planning to move out of town, I love this place. You guys are great, I had a daughter with special needs. I had twin girls, she was in a classroom of 8 students and 3 teachers. I went to 12 years at Catholic School in the Bronx. They would never have those programs in a million years. You guys are great, but we gotta turn the new leaf now, because it's bad. Words out all over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? All right, well, on that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, and just very quickly before adjournment, I'm sorry, Christine, I would like to wish everyone a very happy and healthy holiday. Please take this time to enjoy time with friends, family, loved ones. Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate. Please enjoy the holidays and a well-deserved break. Thank you. Sorry, Christine.
All right, do I have a motion? Jackie, do I have a second? Sean, all in favor? All right. Happy holidays.
And Merry Christmas.
Yeah.